Hello everyone. How can we understand sensitive events? Because as you can see around us, there are a lot of social media events. There are a lot of focusing on some events which driven us crazy. We have only two ways to understand any sensitive topics all over the world. And by the way, it's not just even sensitive. You can guess it any kind of topics, whether you can choose emotional or logics. For each one of them, there is some positive points or good points and negative points or bad points. It's up to you. I'm going to share with you my personal observation about emotional versus logical. At the end, this is your decision which kind of approach you are going to choose. So I hope that you will choose a proper approach, so at the end you will not regret the outcomes of your approach. Let's get into the video to share these approaches with you. Let's go. We have two ways to approach any topics. First is a sentimental, emotional approach. That approach will let you feel for the moment of approaching that topic that you are right and your point of view is coming from the fact that you are a human being and you have a feeling, emotion towards that topic. But later on, once your mind starts to understand what is really going on around you and the peak of your emotional will drop down, there is a chance that you will realize that you misjudged the topic because you was driven by emotions, you was under the influence of maybe media, social media, or some fake news, or some fact, but it isn't complete, so some information, but it isn't complete information, so you only know half of the truth, you don't know the other half yet, or sometimes driven by historical hates to someone, to some country, to a topic, to some history, it depends. Because also the historical parts, sometimes it's charging people emotionally. Which later on, after you charge it emotionally, and who knows later on the results of your actions in that time, how big they are. Because really, emotionally, you don't know, you don't expect what's going on later. Second approach, it will be the logical approach. When you give yourself the ability to suspect things before acting, like you hear something and you try to collect more facts about it as you can before jumping to any conclusions. That's for sure not a guarantee that you will correctly judge the topic, but at least at any point of time you can stop because you are not misleading by your emotion. You're controlling yourself by thinking logically. And your emotional status, it will be under your logical control. And rarely when you do things which you regret them later. That's why I prefer logical approach. Think before move. Not move after that think. Totally different. So, media, social media, not always honest when they provide an explanation of a topic. Sometimes they are fabricated or focusing on only one part of the truth or of the information, which leading on later to brainwashing people to direct them to a specific direction. So at the end, you will act exactly as someone else wants, not your desire. But in the same time, you will be convinced that was your own opinion. So you think that, oh my God, that's who I am. I know what I'm saying. But in fact, someone else already drive you to that conclusion. It wasn't you. It's about the results of what you're always hearing and repeated around you. So please, be careful with what you see, hear, or read, because there is nothing called a pure truth. Not always the truth is pure. No one will say the truth 100%. Also, if that affects your emotional status more than logical status, So the results will not be something you will be proud of in the future. So you should control your emotional and logically start anything, especially if it is something sensitive, something related to human actions or whatever. So any of them has a consequences for sure, but from my point of view, emotional consequences could be more dangerous than logical one. At the end, the choice is yours because you will see and live the consequences of your own choice. And I hope you will not only you who will see that consequences and live it. It will not be someone else who could be innocent. So choose whatever you want, but I hope you will think before act. So that's it. Enjoy it.